Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a world where the most powerful country on Earth doesn't exist. No global influence guiding decisions. No dominant culture shaping what people watch, wear, or believe. No single nation standing at the center of world events. Just silence and a vast, untamed land across the ocean. A land of forests that never end, rivers that carve through the earth, mountains that touch the sky. A land full of potential, but no power. That was North America just a few centuries ago. And yet, from that quiet, unknown place, something rose. Something powerful enough to shape the entire world. But how does that even happen? How does a land go from forgotten to unstoppable?
A world before America. Long before the United States became a global force, it wasn't even a country. In the 1700s, the eastern edge of North America was dotted with small colonies, simple settlements, wooden homes, dirt roads. Life was hard, unpredictable, and controlled from thousands of miles away. Across the ocean stood Great Britain, the most powerful empire on Earth. Its navy ruled the seas. Its economy stretched across continents. Its influence was unmatched. To Britain, the colonies were just another asset, a source of wealth, a distant extension of its power. And the people living there? They weren't seen as future leaders of the world. They were subjects, workers, replaceable. But something was changing, quietly at first, then louder. A growing frustration began to spread. A question formed in the minds of ordinary people. What if we didn't need them? This leads us to Chapter 3, The Risk That Changed Everything. At first, it didn't look like a revolution. It looked like resistance. Protests in the streets, anger over taxes, voices demanding change. But when those voices were ignored, everything shifted. The colonies made a decision that would define their future. They would fight. What followed was the American Revolution, and by every logical measure, it was a mistake. They were up against the strongest empire in the world. Trained soldiers, superior weapons, years of experience. The colonies had farmers, volunteers, and hope. The war dragged on. Cold winters, empty supplies, moments where defeat felt certain. But something unexpected happened. They didn't give up. They adapted, they endured, they believed, and somehow they won. They had freedom, but not power, and this is where Chapter 4 started. Victory created something new, a nation, the United States. But it wasn't powerful, not yet. It was fragile, a collection of states trying to stay united, an experiment with no guarantee of success. The economy was weak, the future was uncertain. It could have collapsed at any moment. But there was something different about this nation, something dangerous. It wasn't built on tradition, it was built on an idea that anyone could rise, that the future could be shaped, and that belief would fuel everything that came next.
This leads us to Chapter 5, The Great Expansion. Then came the movement that would redefine the nation. Expansion. At first, it was slow. Families moving west one step at a time. But soon, it became unstoppable. Across rivers, across mountains, into lands unknown, people pushed forward, driven by opportunity, by survival, by ambition. A powerful belief took hold that this land was meant to be theirs, a destiny, something inevitable. But expansion wasn't peaceful. It brought conflict, displacement, loss. Entire communities were pushed aside, cultures disrupted, lives changed forever. This wasn't just growth, it was transformation, and it came at a cost. Then something changed again. The nation didn't just expand, it accelerated. The 1800s brought a new kind of power, industry. Railroads connected the country from coast to coast. Factories turned raw materials into wealth. Cities grew faster than ever before, and people came, millions of them, from different parts of the world, each bringing something new, ideas, skills, innovation. The nation became a machine, producing, building, expanding, not just in size, but in strength. This was no longer a young country trying to survive. It was becoming something else, something bigger.
This leads us to Chapter 6. The world can't ignore it anymore. For years, America focused inward, building itself, growing quietly. But the world was heading toward chaos. Tensions were rising across continents, and soon, everything would explode. The first shock came with the World War I. At first, America stayed out of it, watching, waiting. But when it entered the war, the balance shifted. The world began to notice. This was no longer just a growing nation. This was a rising power.
This leads us to the next era, the moment of dominance. Then came the defining moment, the World War II. A war that consumed the world. Cities destroyed, nations collapsed, millions gone. And in the middle of it all, America rose. Its factories produced at unimaginable scale. Its economy surged while others fell apart. Its military expanded across oceans. When the war ended, the world was broken, but America wasn't. It stood stronger than ever, richer, more powerful, more influential. This was the moment everything changed. This leads us to Chapter 8. The world split into two. But power always creates opposition, and soon a rival emerged, the Soviet Union. The world divided. Two superpowers, two ideologies, two futures. This was the Cold War, a war without direct battles, but filled with tension, fear, and the constant threat of nuclear destruction. At any moment, everything could end. But this wasn't just about weapons, it was about influence. And America began to spread its influence across the globe, which leads us into the ninth era, the real takeover. Because the true takeover didn't happen on battlefields. It happened everywhere else. Through culture, through ideas, through everyday life. Movies from Hollywood, music heard across continents, technology shaping how people live. The world wasn't just watching America, it was absorbing it. Its currency influenced global trade, its companies shaped economies, its lifestyle became a global standard. This was power on a completely different level. So this brings us to the final conclusion. And just like that, a land that once meant nothing to the world became the center of it. A nation that didn't exist now influences nearly everything. But here's the truth. This story isn't over, because power never stays in one place forever. The world is changing again. New nations are rising. New challenges are forming. So the real question is, did America take over the world? Or is this just one chapter in a much bigger story? Because history never truly ends. Do well to subscribe for more historical stories.